Howdy, guys.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
How's everyone else?
Great, they said.
Good. Oh, I'm glad.
We're coming at you. We're coming here to explain to you what we're going to be doing with our weekly challenges. Okay, so if you haven't noticed, I've been putting together some challenges for you guys. I posted on the Facebook pages as well as my own Facebook story and whatnot in regards to different challenges that I've been doing for myself and kind of throwing out to you guys to do as well. So with these challenges, first and foremost is going to be understanding who should be doing them, who needs to be doing them. The answer to that question is anybody, whoever wants to be doing them. Okay, they're not mandatory for you guys. They're not part of our Platinum specific workouts. Obviously, we're going to have those during the week. This is extra credit, extracurricular challenges for you guys to try out. Okay, so with the challenges themselves, obviously, there's going to be two parts of it. So there's going to be just a simple exercise component of it for extra work for yourself, extra physical activity, extra progression, growth, strength, whatnot. But there's also going to be a competitive aspect of that as well. So a big key component we want to talk about today is going to be the competitive aspect of it, and going into detail onto how exactly we want you guys to perform all of the exercises, all of the workouts, just so you guys have a better understanding of how to do them appropriately, especially as we go forward with trying to bring in the competitive aspect to you guys all as kind of a collective family. See who's on top, who's in the middle, who's towards the lower end. Like I said, this isn't to showcase just the strong and like leave out the people that can't do it. We're gonna have modified versions of certain challenges. We're gonna have other ways for people to do extra stuff that might not be able to complete some of these challenges. But we'll go into further detail in that in just a few.
Like you said, I mean, it's called a challenge for a reason. Like if the challenge was a 2-mile run, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, I can only run 1 mile, so this is my time, and then I'm better than someone that did the full 2 mile. So that being said, if you need to modify stuff, that's fine, but understand you're not completing the challenge. The challenge is to do 100 push-ups from your toes. That is the challenge. If you can't do that, then you didn't complete it. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to, do it as just exercise for yourself and just say, hey, I'm going to do the modified version, and this is my time for the modified challenge. By modifying exercises, I still completed it in this time. Or you can say, hey, maybe that's something to work toward. Like maybe next time I want to try to complete it as written. And that's also another point too. If you're doing the push-ups, for example, from your toes, and you get to 50 push-ups, and you're like, oh, I can't do any more from my toes. I'm going to go to my knees. Well, that's the question you got to ask yourself. If it's just for a workout, then maybe you're better off just going to the knees and completing your reps, as quickly as you can. Or maybe if you're going for a time, then you just stop, reset yourself, shake it off, and then try to jump back on those toes until you get all the way to 100. It's maybe broken up, but again, it's kind of taking it as you want it to be. But
yeah. I mean, definitely. And to further that point, a big portion of it as well is definitely going to be, understanding that this can be a challenge for you personally. It doesn't have to be necessarily for the competitive aspect of it as a whole for everyone else. Whether you want to post about it once you complete it on Facebook, whether you want to tell us, we can obviously shout you out, say you did this challenge in this amount of time, kick some butt. We'll definitely show you guys off. If you want to keep it to yourself, that's totally optional as well. I like to do a lot of these things by myself as well, just kind of build my own mental and physical game as well, mostly mental. It's more about doing the workouts and completing the reps, because a lot of them are going to have a lot of volume, so there's going to be a lot of work to be done. And the big thing is that it's very easy if you're doing these by yourself. If there's 75 jumping jacks and you do 73, it's easy to just go on the next exercise and say screw that.
Right.
But like doing those extra 2 reps, doing the full thing and knowing that in your mind is going to build discipline, it's going to build character, it's going to build integrity, and that's going to further put you in the right path on obviously just better all health, better mental space, better physical growth and whatnot. Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely that extra little aspect of it as well is doing them on your own. Obviously you can get together once everything clears over. If you want to do them with your friend, your family, something like that, awesome. But another big component, like the reason why I like to do them, is just try to test my own mental capacity and really keep myself accountable when no one else is watching you. So obviously we're not going to have coaches watching you do the reps and counting them for you. You have to count them on your own, and you have to know within yourself and trust yourself and not lie to yourself to do them right and do all of them. So going into that, what we're going to do right now is going to kind of go over the exercises for you guys, showing you how to complete full range of motion on all of them, so you guys know exactly how to do them, so no one's cheating a little bit of time and getting a little away with this or that. So majority of the workouts are going to kind of come down to the same movements. They're going to be different reps. There's going to be different ways in which we do them. There's going to be different staggered portions of it, whatever the case may be. But the exercises primarily are gonna rotate around push-ups to some extent, burpee to some extent, squats, lunges, some type of sit-up or crunch. So we just kind of want to break down majority of what I've already posted within those workouts and what we will use moving forward, so you guys understand what to do as the workouts pop up for you guys. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to start off with a squat. Okay, so say for example we got 50 squats or 100 squats on one of these challenges. Okay, so what we're going to do, you guys all know how to do squats, but the big thing on here is understanding, not cheating yourself. Okay, we're gonna go all the way down the squat to 90 degrees. So the big thing here is 90-degree bend in the knees. 90-degree bend in the knees and the hips should be at the same level. Keep that chest up. And the big thing too is as you extend, that's where the range of motion is really gonna come into effect. Okay, it's obviously good practice to get deep. It's obviously important to get to the 90-degree angle, but the big thing is coming up. So a big thing too is if Christian goes back down, does the same thing, and he comes back up 80% of the way and goes right back into it, if he's doing 75 reps of that extra little millisecond is going to add up over time. So the big thing is being sure you're fully extended at the top, all the way locking your knees and hips out simultaneously at the top and doing full range of motion. Obviously go at your own pace. It's another big thing too is we want you to do these for time, so as fast as you can, but as safely and as effectively as you can as well. Okay, so that's the squat.
Real quick too, that's the thing with that, like you can still go quickly, as it kind of was showing you there, even though I was locking out, you can still go fast, full range of motion. That is the idea with the challenge. Go as fast as you can with perfect technique and form.
Correct.
It's just, if you're going half reps or not getting your full range of motion, you're going to be able to do them faster because it's less range. So just, as fast as you can with full correct.
So going more
motion.
into leg movement, what we'll do next is going to be an alternating forward lunge. Okay, so obviously forward meaning step forward. We're going to take one step forward and then bend the knees. Okay, the big thing here is keeping that chest tall. Once again, when you go down, both knees should be at a 90-degree bend. Okay, the front knee, the back knee. Be sure we're not letting the knee touch on the ground, and then coming back up to a standing, fully erect position. Okay. Whether we do these, a big thing too is, as Christian showed you there, he's doing a walking lunge. If he wants to do, which I put in a couple challenges, is just 4 lunges back and forth. So he'll just stay stationary and go forward and then back to the standing. Is we can do that as well. If it says alternating lunges, we're just going to switch sides, but be sure you're going all the way back to the standing. If he goes back down and comes back up 80% of the way, he can stop and go right back to the other leg. Okay, he can make those quick, and that's not necessarily what we want to do. We want them to be fast, but full range of motion. Okay, so it's going to be lunges. We'll do a push-up next. Okay, so you guys, all these movements you guys know how to do. We're just being sure you understand that full range of motion is going to be key. So obviously we're in the high plank position, heads over hands, toes are back. Okay, so these challenges are going to require you to be from the toes. If I write cobra push-ups or knee push-ups specifically, or one of us do, that's what it's going to be. But if it says push-ups, 25 push-ups, it should be from the toes, hips engaged. We're going to drop the chest down. Okay, what we're going to do here on the bottom range of motion, as you come down, the back of the arm should be the same, or should be right parallel with the upper back. So 90-degree bend in the elbows, and then Christian's going to fully extend, push himself away, and the elbows will lock out at the top. Okay, if he does these 80% of the way, he gets away with a lot of time. Okay. That's still a push-up, but it's not a full range of motion push-up, okay? So if you want to practice these as well, if you want to have a spouse or a kid or anything, put their fist right below your chest, drop down. That's typically the good range of motion to be at the bottom of it, because as you can see, as Christian at the bottom there, his elbows are going to be at the same height of his back, okay? If you want to put a soup can, a Lysol bottle, something in there, it's probably just like 3 inches maybe so. Good range of motion for you to be on the way down. And like I said, the biggest thing is fully extending the elbows at the top. Okay, same thing goes for cobra push-ups. So you guys know how to do cobra push-ups. Christian's gonna show you anyways. Keep the hips on the ground. Obviously, you're gonna go all the way chest to the ground, and then big thing is fully extending the elbows at the top, locking them out, coming back down. He's not doing 75% of the way. He's doing full range of motion. Looking like a weirdo. Okay, so that's a push-up. We also got burpees in there, okay? So you guys kind of know how to do these. We're gonna do them for real. We're gonna do them for real. You don't think they know?
Yeah, I don't have to.
Okay. So a full range of motion burpee, the key on these is to drop your chest all the way to the ground. Okay, so you're gonna jump down, bring your chest to the floor, bring your feet back up, and jump at the top. So a lot of things people leave out is the touching the chest at the bottom and the jump at top, okay? If you go up and you just stand up, it's not a full range of motion burpee. That extra little jump, the big thing too is that it doesn't necessarily need to be a full big jump. You just need to come off the ground with your feet. Okay, so go down to the floor, chest touches the ground, back up to the standing position, and then jump. That's one full range of motion burpee. Okay, anything to say on those?
Understand that this is our rules for burpees.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so I know in CrossFit rules, like a burpee is like, I don't know exactly, it's like get down and then you just have to get off the floor like this. So that's again, that's where you'll see, like, in those kind of competitions, they'll be doing that.
Yeah.
For our case, for our challenges, when we say burpees, we're talking full. Chest
to
touches
ground.
the floor. Your entire body needs to be off the floor at the top.
Yeah. And obviously understanding that even if you do get tired, especially with burpees, definitely don't. Burpees is going to be one of the exercises that we don't necessarily want you to rush. We obviously said the challenge is for speed, so you're going to be as fast as you can. But as you get fatigued, you've hurt your lower back, if something bothers you, slow it down or just stop completely. Another thing too is that Christian will show you a modified version of this as well. You're still more than welcome to do the modified version of a burpee. It's obviously going to slow you down in time.
Yeah, but this would still count toward
Correct,
a full,
correct.
like a full
So
burpee.
he'll go full, all the way down, step back, step forward, and then take 1 foot at a time as opposed to jumping it up. Because the big thing too is as you jump your feet forward, you might tuck your pelvis and feel some pressure on your lower back. So if you need to step it up, obviously it's going to cost you more time, but if that's going to be form over costing time, take the form first. Okay, so that's burpee. We're going to do jumping jacks next, or speed jacks, okay? Simple, straightforward. Christian's going to extend his feet out and his hands above the head. Notice as he does these, his hands touch at the top and his hands touch the side of his legs as he goes down. If he does 50% of the way without touching either, that adds up to a lot of time. Okay, if we do 100 speed jacks, you're gonna get a lot of time on someone else. Okay, so be sure we're going all the way up. Hands touch, hands touch, hands touch, hands touch. Sit-ups. So we're gonna lie flat on the ground. This is one thing that a lot of you guys messed up on, okay? And it was my fault on the first challenge, so I take full responsibility. Okay, so for a sit-up, we're gonna keep the knees bent. We're gonna start with our hands behind our head, fully extended. Your palms, or not your palms, your hands should be touching the floor. You're gonna do a full sit-up, so coming up, crunching your abs, and you're gonna touch your hands again in front of you on the ground. So one full range of motion burpee sit-up is gonna be hands touch, that's 1 rep, okay? All the way through, just like so. For straight leg toe touches on a couple challenges, you're gonna lift your legs all the way up and you're gonna reach for your toes, okay? You should be able to touch them. If you don't have that range of motion, just go ahead and reach for it, but a majority of you should be able to touch those toes. A big thing too is keeping those legs locked out and extended. So flutter kick's gonna be legs extended, okay? We're gonna lift our shoulders off the ground and we're gonna go back and forth, okay? So 1 rep is 1 leg. So if you go up and down on one side, that's 1 rep, up and on the other leg is 1 rep. Beautiful. So bicycles is going to be opposite elbow to opposite knee, but we got to be sure we fully extend that leg as you come back. Okay, as he tucks the knees in and extends them, he's fully extending his knee as he extends out and then bringing them back in. He's not stopping 75% of the way. He's going full range of motion. Exactly. Don't be doing that. So there's going to be the exercises that are going to be required from the majority of the workouts. If something does pop up that's new that we haven't discussed, we'll go into further detail with that specific challenge, how to complete that specific movement. But those are going to be primarily what the workouts target, so you guys now know the full range of motion, how to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I don't know if you were going to get to it, but if you want to touch on like distances for running.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
yeah, so when you guys are doing distances, like if it says 400 meters, a lot of people don't have access to a track, so how are you going to track that? A couple ways. One, if you do have like an Apple Watch or any sort of Fitbit or something that does track distances, great, you can use that. When you set your workout, just watch where it is when you start, and then just when you get to that distance, that's what it is, okay? If you don't have one of those, Google Maps is a great tool that's out there that everyone can use. So if you go on Google Maps, and you drop a pin just down your street, if you know where you're gonna be running, let's say it's in front of your house, just drop a pin down the street and it'll say, that's 0.3 miles away. Now, you're gonna have to do some math, knowing that in a mile, there's 1,600 meters, okay? And so 0.3 times that's gonna give you what your distance is.
Don't complicate it. I mean, majority of these workouts will put 200 meters or 400 meters, 800 meters, something that's very self-explanatory. So 800 meters, like you said, 1,600 meters is a full mile. So if you divide that in half, it's going to be half a mile. 800 meters is half a mile run. 400 meters is a quarter mile run.
Yeah.
200 miles is a 1.2 to half of the half, or half of the quarter, excuse me. A lot of them will probably just write on there as well in quotations, just say quarter of a mile. But then obviously, like you said, there's tracking apps, there's watches, there's phones, there's Google Maps.
Yeah, at the very least, Google Maps should be accessible by anyone.
Yeah.
So you just go on there, figure out where you're gonna run from your driveway to this point, how far is it, try to get it about, the distance, if you either half a mile, quarter mile, whatever it is we're shooting for is that distance, that's kind of what we want to be aiming for there.
Correct. And then another big thing I want to cover too is the number of reps that are written on an exercise. Those are to be completed all at one time. Okay, so if there's 100 sit-ups, you have to do those 100 sit-ups before you move on to whatever's next, 25 push-ups, 25 squats, whatever the case may be. Whatever's written for the exercise, do all of those. You can break them up within a certain amount within a long extended set, but don't go on to the next exercise until the reps that are stated for that exercise are completed.
Yeah.
Okay,
if it's 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and then 100 squats, you can't do like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. It's got to be 100
Correct.
until you move on, unless the workout specifies.
Yeah.
If the workout says, hey, complete 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 100
However
sit-ups
you
in
want.
any order, doesn't matter, then go for it. But if it doesn't, if it says, complete these for 4 rounds or whatever, that's a case where you wouldn't be able to split those up. You have to
Correct.
do them as written,
And the same thing with rounds too. If it says 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, 25 jumping jacks, and it says 5 rounds for time, that means go through all 3 of them 5 times in a row. Don't go backwards. Don't do them any order you want to do them in. Right. They're specified in a certain order for you to do them in that order. Okay.
Yeah. And again, the reason we're giving you all these rules is because, again, like we said at the beginning, it's a competition, and you need to have consistency among competition. You can't say, oh, well, I did it faster than him, but I did it 10 of each 10 times through, and he did 100 in a row. We're doing a different workout. There's different energy systems. Yeah, it has to be the same. We have to keep all variables the same, where the only thing that's going to be different is how fast we complete them.
Correct.
So, that's what we want it for competition. Again, if you're not doing this for competition, if you don't want to put your time out there, you don't want anyone to know, you don't care about the time, you're just trying to do it for an extra workout for some fun, then by all means, if you want to split it up into 10s, do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. Have fun with it. But, if it is for competition, which is what we're going to be kind of putting out there in a minute and talking about, but if that's your goal, is to compete with other people and get your time out there and stuff, you got to be consistent, and you don't want to ruin it for everybody else by saying, oh, I did it faster than everyone else, but I didn't really follow the rules exactly, but I still beat everyone. Yeah, it just kind of ruins the fun. So.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to do it for the competitive aspect of it, do it for progression. The big thing with these is that they're all going to be body weight, so they're all going to be, you can do anywhere. And you can obviously use these multiple times to try to progress. Like people are runners and they try to get a better time every time. It's just progression. So you can do these same workouts. They're going to be tough. You probably don't want to do them multiple times. But just using it, if you don't want to do the competitive side of it, do them just for progression to see how far you can push yourself, see how much better you can do at certain workouts. Just try to build up the strength, mental capacity, so on and so forth.
Yeah, like a simple one, like we were saying in the example, if it was like 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 100 sit-ups, and it was just do that for time, if you do it, you get maybe, say, 15 minutes, and then 2 months later, like, oh, I'm going to do that one again. Well, you want to do it the same way you did it the first time. You're like, oh, well, this time I'm going to do it differently, and then I got a better time, but what does that mean? Does that mean I actually got better, or was it just easier the way I did it this time? So to make sure you're actually progressing, you want to do it the same way you did in the beginning, and then you can see like, hey, how did I fare up against my old time? And if you're doing better, then great. You can guarantee, you can understand fully that you are improving, you know, and it's kind of a guarantee there. So.
Yep. Yeah, so I think we kind of covered everything. That's kind of the basics of what we're going to talk about today. So that's going to be the challenges. Once again, they're extra credit. They're for you if you want to do extra work. They're not going to be your foundation workouts for Platinum. If you want to push yourself extra by your own time, if you want to push yourself extra to be in the big scheme of competition, awesome. Do you. Let us know what you think about them. Let us know what you want to see more of. We just want to put something else out there for you guys to do extra as well, especially if you're staying home for a little bit more of a prolonged period of time.
And I don't know if we did clarify it exactly, but this is something we are going to keep doing.
Correct.
So if we didn't make that clear enough, Dylan put out a whole bunch already, and I hope you guys were able to try those. But for those that didn't, or just for everyone that did, going forward, I think what we're going to try and do is each week we're going to put out one challenge a week. So next week we're going to put out a challenge, say, hey, this is the challenge for the week. We'll probably take turns writing different ones, and we'll see who can do the best. And so you guys can do them. As you complete them, tell us your time, post it on Facebook, and we'll probably keep a running tally in here on our boards, so you can see who has the best time, who's doing what.
Competition brings out you guys'
again,
best.
bring that competition out here. So again, it's just extra. If you're not recovering from your own workouts, again, probably not something to be adding in. But if you're fully recovered and you're feeling good and you want some competition, some extra fun, highly recommend doing these and following along. And even like Dylan said, even if you don't like the public competition, do it for yourself and just save your times and keep them to yourself. Share them with us, and we won't put them on the board if you don't want us to. And then, like we said, with modified versions too, like if you're someone that knows, hey, because of a hip injury or something, I can't do full range of motion squats or burpees or whatever, and you have to modify the workouts, but you still want to have competition, we'll kind of have a separate board for like, hey, if I'm modifying the competition, but I still want to compete. This is my time. We'll keep a tally of that too, so you can kind of compete against other people that also have to modify things. And if it's not just an injury, if it's just physically you just aren't there yet, well then great, that's something more for you to work towards.
Exactly.
Trying to get
Correct.
a little bit more out of them.
Advance. Correct.
Cool.
Yep. That's it.
Anything else?
That's all we got for you guys today.
All right, may the strongest win. We'll
May
see
the
what
force
you
be
guys
with
got.
ya.
All right,
All right,
have a good one, guys.
See ya.